Good morning. Let's get it, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Morning, Connie. Good morning, Quay. Good morning, Mari. Come on, tag 3 people. Share it to your page. Tag 3 people and share it to your page. Good morning, Brittany. Good morning, Rhonda. Y'all tag somebody that you haven't tagged in here before. Tag somebody you haven't tagged before. I'm about to make it public here right now. I don't know why this don't let me do it from the beginning. Good morning, Lena. Good morning, Deandra. Morning, Latricia. Y'all like, comment, and share. Tag 3 people. Tell them, wake up, girl. It's time to pray. Tell them, wake up. It's time to pray. Good morning, Keitha. Y'all tag somebody that hasn't been in Wake Up Girl and Pray. Tag somebody who you know. Good morning, Chantel. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Instagram. Let's get it. Share it to your page. Like it as well, y'all. Like it for me. Put some hearts up there. And we about to get this word in 1 minute. Good morning, Darnisha. Good morning, Lady Paulette. I see y'all coming in. I see y'all tagging. Let's get this. Good morning, Tam. Tam, tag your sisters. Share it to your page. I got notes everywhere today, so y'all work with me. Good morning, Overseer. Good morning, Sister Massey. Y'all share it and tag 3 people. Tell them, wake up, girl. Wake up, bruh. It's time to pray. It is time to pray. While you tagging and while they're coming in, put in the comments, I survived. I survived. I survived. Good morning, Supervisor. And jumped over to Instagram. She didn't abandon y'all on Facebook Live. She said, I'm going to Instagram where the cool people hang at. Good morning, Cecil. You can't start calling out them Instagram names because you'll call out the wrong stuff. Say, I survived. I survived. I survived. I survived. I survived. I survived. They tried to kill me, but I survived. The last thing I went through, I survived. The very thing that I thought was going to take me out, I survived. I survived. You don't have to know what I survived. I'm reminded of Ricky Dillard when he said, "If I tell my neighbor what I went through, they may look at me funny because what I survived has been great. What I survived, the pain that I survived, the storms that I survived, the issues that I survived, all the things that I survived, it made me who I am. I survived. I survived. I was. We had a storm in Charlotte, and then on the southeast that was supposed to come through on, and I talked about it briefly on my 10-minute check-in yesterday. Um, a storm came in, and it didn't look like it was much from the windows. And when I was looking out the windows, it didn't look like it was much. It didn't look like it was heavy until I ran to Starbucks to get coffee, and I said, "Oh, this thing is really real out here." And it was blowing, and my sneakers were wet because it was flooding, and all of these things were going on out. And the storm didn't seem bad for me looking out the window. Somebody, your storm doesn't seem bad to the person that's looking out the window, but they don't know what it's like until they get in the thick of it with you. So we are not in a place to judge somebody in their storm to say, "Oh, you what you going through ain't nothing. I've been through this." We're not in a season to compare storms. Just know that the storm has happened, and guess what? I'm coming out. Put that in the comments. I'm coming out. I am coming out. I'm coming out. I'm coming out. I'm coming out. I survived 100% of my worst days, and I'm coming out. I don't have a choice in the matter. I am coming out. I am coming out. I've been in the storm and I'm coming out. And so after the storm went and we had some power outages and some things happening, and after the storm happened, the next day, when I went outside because they had a 2-hour delay, I went to take Kennedy to school, and I looked at the lawns around, and it seemed like everything was growing like crazy. Like overnight, the grass had sprouted up like crazy. So the very thing that I have been seeing people in their yards work for daily, they have been um, they have been fertilizing, and they have been putting down seeds, and they've been doing all of this stuff, and they've been going through all of these things, and it seems like they were putting in work, all of this work, so that they can get their grass to grow. But then the storm came. When the storm came, they were able to see immediate growth for the things that they've been working for. Somebody on here needs to know that I know you've been preparing for your next level. I know you've been going through things that you needed to go through to get to your next level, to get to your next place. I know that it seems like God has put you in a place where you can't get to your next level, but the storm, stop fighting the storms of life. Stop fighting the storms that you're going through, because it's the very thing. It seems like you're far off from shore, but the storm is the very thing that's going to push you to shore and is going to allow you to grow. Without the storm, without rain, there is no growth. Without rain, there is no growth. And some of us stay in the storm, and we have to stay in the storm because we refuse to surrender. We refuse to give in. We refuse to take our hands off. We in the storm and we tussling, trying to turn. If you're from Michigan, here we go. Thank you, Holy Ghost. If you're from Michigan, and when you're taught to drive in the snow, y'all may have never driven in bad snow, but when you're taught to drive in the snow, when you start sliding, or New Yorkers, y'all know, when you start sliding, the worst thing you can do is tussle with the wheel when you start sliding. When you start sliding, that's the worst thing you can do is tussle with the wheel. You got to kind of let it go and let it do what it has to do so you can get to where you're going. Because if you start tussling with that wheel, you probably are going to flip your car over. Some of you are tussling with the wheel in the middle of the storm, and you keep flipping over and over, causing more harm than what you should cause. Now you're in a ditch and you can't get out because instead of just trusting God, I'm telling you, if you're from the East Coast or you're from the Midwest and you've experienced terrible storms, when you hit that patch of ice, if you got any bit of church, if you got any bit of Holy Ghost, if you got anything in you, the first thing you're going to do when you start sliding is call on Jesus. Jesus, that's the first thing you're going to do. But instead of tussling with the wheel, they tell you that you got to let it go and let it do what, and don't break. There you go. Come on, sis. Help the people. Don't break. You scream Jesus and let that wheel go and don't break. Because if you break, if you panic and break, if you panic in the midst of the storm, I haven't even gotten to my scripture. Y'all pushing me. If you panic in the midst of the storm, if you panic and you break and you stop in the midst of the storm, you're certainly going to crash. Not only are you going to crash, but everybody else around you go crash. That's a little snow weather 101. That's a little Midwest northeast 101. That's a little Chicago, a little Michigan driving lesson for you. Don't break, let go, and trust God. Come on, somebody. Don't break, let go, trust God. Put that in the comments. That's good. Don't break, let go, and trust God. I think I told y'all last on Tuesday that, and I think Keith the man said Tuesday, it's all gas, no brakes. All gas, no brakes. All gas, no brakes. Let's go to the word. Acts 27. Acts 27. Acts 27, and I'm going to read it from where, y'all? The Message version. I'm going to come out of that one day, but it works for me. And I'm going to read for a second. Y'all go get this word today because I think y'all need this word. Probably go get a little bit more word. We go pray though, but y'all go get this word. And then I might have a treat for y'all next week. I might have a treat for y'all if she agrees. Y'all stay tuned. Tuesday prayer gonna be off the chain. Acts 27, starting at verse 21. With our appetite for both food and life long gone, they had given up. With our appetite for both food and life long gone, Paul took his place in the midst and said, friends, you really should have listened to me back in Crete. We could have avoided all of this trouble and trial, but there's no need to dwell on that now. From now on, things are looking up. Say it's looking up. It's looking up. I can assure you that there'll not be a single drowning among us. In this season, nobody from Wake Up Girl and Cry, Wake Up Girl and Pray, Lord, Wake Up Girl and Cry, Wake Up Girl and Pray will cry in this season. We will not be lost because we're looking up and you're not drowning. You need to get an accountability partner so you don't drown. If you have not shared this, share this to your page so your cousin, your sister, your brother, your niece, your nephew, your mother, whoever it may be, they don't drown in this season. Because if they're among us, then they're not drowning. Look up. Although I can't say much for the ship, I can't say much for the ship. The ship itself is doomed. Last night, God's angel stood at my side, an angel of God, an angel of this God I serve, saying to me, don't give up. Put it in the comments. Don't give up. Don't give up. You're going to stand before Caesar yet, and everyone sailing with you is also going to make it. I'm not worried in this season because y'all are going to make it. He reassured me that this is going to be the best season of our lives. He reassured me that we're going to make it. So, dear friends, take heart. I believe God will do exactly what he told me, but we're going to shipwreck on some island or another. We go shipwreck. We go shipwreck on some island or another. I'm still reading the word. On the 14th night, adrift somewhere in the Arctic Sea, at about midnight, the sailors sensed that we were approaching land. Sounding, they measured a depth of 120 feet and shortly after the 90 feet. Afraid that they were about to run aground, they threw out four anchors and prayed for daylight. They threw out four anchors. They hit the brakes. They threw out four anchors and prayed for daylight. Some of the sailors tried to jump ship. They let down the lifeboat, pretending they were going to set out more anchors from the bow. Paul saw their guys and told the centurion and his soldiers, if these sailors don't stay with the ship, we're all going down. There are some people in your life that are acting like they're throwing anchors so you can be sturdy in your current situation, in your current storm, in your current circumstance. But guess what? They're in the midst of the storm with you, but instead of throwing down anchors and instead of staying on the boat, they are secretly throwing out the small boats so that they can get away. It's some people out there that are trying to abandon the storm and abandon the ship that you are currently in. With dawn about to break, Paul called everyone together and proposed breakfast. This is the 14th day we've gone without food. None of us has felt like eating. Have you ever been so stressed you don't even feel like eating? You can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't think. You can't eat, you can't sleep. You so stressed, you like, I can't eat, I can't sleep, I cannot think. This is the 14th day we've gone without food. None of us has felt like eating, but I urge you to eat something now. It's time to eat. It's time to get some nourishment for what you are about to experience. You'll need strength for the rescue ahead. That right there is enough for me. You'll need strength for the rescue ahead, and you're going to come out of this without even a scratch. Some of y'all are worried about the end, but he said you're coming out of this without even a scratch. I ain't rushing through the word today, y'all. Y'all getting it. He broke the bread, gave thanks to God, passed it around, and they all ate heartily. 276 of us, all told. With the meal finished and everyone full, the ship was further lightened and dumping the grain overboard. At daybreak, no one recognized the land, but then they did notice a bay with a nice beach. On the end of your storm, it's a bay with a nice beach. They decided to run the ship up on the beach. They cut the anchors and loosed the tiller, raised the sail, and ran before the wind toward the beach, but we didn't make it. Still far from shore, we hit a reef, and the ship began to break. The soldiers decided to kill the prisoners because you must remember that Paul was a prisoner. You got to remember that Paul was a prisoner. I'm going to come back to that. So no one could escape by swimming. He was not Apostle Paul here. He was on this boat as a prisoner. But the centurion, determined to save Paul, stopped them and he gave them orders that who could swim to dive and go for it, and the rest grab a plank. Everyone made it to shore safely. Let me give it to you in the King James version. And falling into place where two seas met, they ran the ship aground, and the fore part stuck fast and remained unmovable, and the hinder part was broken with the violence of the waves. Jump down to verse 44. This is our highlight. And the rest, some on boards, some on broken pieces of the ship, and it came to pass that they escaped all safe to land. Say, I'm surviving on broken pieces. I'm surviving on broken pieces. You think the very thing that has broken you, the very thing that told you to give up, the very thing that made you cry, you are surviving on broken pieces. Let me give you some background to this. I told you that Apostle Paul was not he was not the apostle on this ship. He was not the apostle on the ship. What he was a prisoner. He got on here shackled. See, some of us have gotten so used to our titles. We've gotten so used to what we used to be. We got so used to our circumstance that when we get on the ship and the storm, we enter the storm, we want to be called by our titles. We want to be called, oh, that's the beautiful one. We want to be known by the amazing things that we do. But sometimes when you're entering this place, you're entering as a prisoner. And it's okay. He entered as a prisoner, but he still, even as a prisoner, he did not get on there and say, I'm Apostle Paul, and I don't know why you doing that. He got on there as a prisoner, and he still heard from God. He still heard from, to get on this ship, it was dangerous. And you must, just to give you a little bit of foreground of the word, because I know people like Mari been deep studying their word, spending their time with God. And then she go call me later and ask me what that mean. And I want to make sure she got the background to it. So Paul was on a ship, but it was headed somewhere that he did not need to go. He needed to get to Rome. And in order for him to get to Rome, in order for the word to be fulfilled that was spoken, in order for him to do what he needed to do and what he was assigned to do, he had to switch ships. He had to switch ships. Some of you are on the wrong ship, heading in the wrong direction. And when you were told to switch ships, when you were told to jump out, when you were told to leave the job, when you were told to leave where you were, when you were told to leave the relationship, when you were told to leave, you stayed on the boat. Switch ships, switch ships, switch ships, switch. Oh, that's a tongue twister. Switch ships. It's time to switch ships. And you are staying in a place that's not going to take you to your destination. It's going to take you to somebody else's destination, but because it's comfortable, you have stayed there. Because it's no storm going that way, you stayed there. But see, in order to get to Rome, let me give you the background of it. In order to get to Rome, you had to fight a storm. You had to go through something. You had to experience something. And what would happen back in that day is, if you on the way to Rome, if a ship made it, they got paid double. Come on, say double. Woo! That was good to me. If they made it to Rome, if they switched ships, because Paul had to switch ships. If they got on this ship had meal on it, it had food on it, it had meat on it, because if you got to Rome, you got paid double. Why did you get paid double? Because in order to get there, you had to battle a tremendous amount of storms. You had to battle the treacherous seas. You had to battle it really bad. Double. They got paid double because they went through so much to get there. Some of you are wondering, God, you're in the middle of the storm and you're wondering, God, why couldn't I get it the easy way? Why couldn't I do this? Why couldn't I do that? He said, but on the other side of it, you're looking at the person that made it out. He said, I'm just going to give them a small portion, but on the other side of it, I'm giving you double. I'm giving you double. I'm giving you more. I just need you to trust me. I need you to trust that you're not going to drown. I need you to trust that you're not going to give up. I need you to trust me. I need you to trust me in this season, that on the other side of this storm, I'm getting double. Guess why you were getting double? Because you were more valuable. Some of you are neglecting and negating the very thing that God has placed in you, and the very thing that qualified you, that we talked about in our 10-minute check-in yesterday, the very thing that qualified you to survive the storm. You want to get rid of it. You don't want any of it. You want to take that out of your testimony. You want to erase that. Yes, they talk about you. Yes, they are talking about what you experienced. Yes, they are talking about what you went through. But on the other side of it, you're getting double. You're getting double. You're getting double. You're getting double. Let's talk about the storm's impact. Let's talk about the storm's impact. The storm's impact caused chaos and destruction. How many people have been there? Just been in the midst of the storm, and it seems like all hell has broken loose, and there's nothing but chaos and destruction. Nothing but chaos and destruction all around you. And then chaos and destruction establishes some level of fear and uncertainty. The worst thing that you can be in the middle of the storm is uncertain. Because when you're uncertain about your destination, I don't know, I'm just going to talk about myself. When I don't know where we going, And I don't know how we getting there. See, because I'm just not about to hop in the boat with you, and I'm just not about to hop on nothing with you. See, that's why it's a little bit hard to pastor me. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. If y'all go tell Bishop this, or if y'all tag him in it, I will act like I don't know what y'all talking about. It's a little bit hard to pastor me because you just want to give me the vision. Bishop just want to give me the vision and say, trust me. And I'm like, no, how we getting there? You telling me that greater is coming, but how are we getting there? You're telling me we're opening a daycare on the 23rd. The Ann Freeman Learning Center soft launch is happening on the 23rd. But Bishop, between now and the 23rd, how are we getting there? What are we doing? I'm very analytical when it comes to it. I need to know, how am I getting to the next place? But God told me in this season, it's not the season for you to question Bishop. It's not the season for you to question the vision. I put him on the boat, not as I got him looking just like you. He's not the apostle, but he is a prisoner on the boat with you, but he has vision. He has the word of the Lord. He is listening to me. And as long as you trust him, yep, you may be tossed around. Yep, you may experience some things. Yes, it may not be easy. Yes, you may struggle a little bit, but I promise you, sure, the beautiful bay, the beautiful beach is on the way if you just stick to it. And he said, not only am I going to do it, not only am I going to give you the Ann Freeman Learning Center, I'm going to give you the gym. He said, if you trust me, he said, if you trust me, he said, not only am I going to birth the conference for Wake Up Girl and Pray, I'm going to take it from state to state. If you trust me, if you trust me, I got to get to the word, y'all. I got to get to the word because it gets a little bit good. See, we start losing things and we get a little nervous because we've lost some things. We get nervous because we've lost some things. And you want to say, you want to start comparing. I lost some things. I lost some stuff and I'm hurting. I lost some things and I've been in chaos. I lost some things, so I fear. I lost some things. And because we lose things, we are desperate. We are desperate. We got to stop being so desperate in the middle of the storm, because that means that you're going to grab that wheel and you're going to turn the boat the wrong way. And now you're going to be stuck in the storm going the opposite way when your destination is straight ahead. All gas, no brakes. You got to survive the storm. How do you survive the storm? Acts 27:22-25. You must hold on to hope. Say, I'm holding on to hope. I'm holding on to hope. I'm holding on to hope. I'm not giving up in this season. For if God, the very things that God has spoken over me, let me tell you, I don't need another prophecy, because what I'm doing is I got them. I said, when I don't know what y'all do, because y'all be screaming and yelling and jumping and hollering when y'all get prophesied to. Nope, I need to hear what you're saying so I can digest it. I don't need another word. I'm going back to all those videos that Bishop got of me laying on the floor when after I done got my word. I'm going back to all of those and I'm pulling them out because the word of the Lord must be fulfilled. I'm holding on to hope. I'm holding on to the plan of God, because where God is taking me, he promised me double. You must trust God's promises. Some of you have given up, and that's why we're junkies. That's why we prophecy junkies, because you've given up. I don't need another word. I can go back and I tell y'all all the time. God, the prophet that God sent me left this earth maybe about 10 years ago. Prophet Rico Butler and his wife, Ivy Butler. The very thing that he prophesied to me back in 20 2013, no, I want to say 2009. The very thing that he prophesied to me in 2009 is just being fulfilled. Some of the stuff I can go back to his prophecy and pull up on it and be like, when he told me, he said, you're going to travel. He said, and you're going to minister the word out of the country. When he told me in 2009, baby, I didn't have a passport. I didn't even know. What do you mean I'm going to minister the word out of the country? Not only did I not have anything, let me tell my story. Not only did I not have anything when I was standing before Prophet Rico Butler, I said, this big I'm not gonna talk about my prophet. This big old tall dark-skinned man, this big tall dark-skinned man, rest in heaven. He out of Chicago, by way of South Bend, and came to Michigan to tell me that I am going to be over women, and I am standing here 9 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant with Kennedy in my belly poked out, and I can't receive nothing he's saying because I am pregnant with child, single mother, trying to make it. I just, at this point, because the pregnancy had wore me out, I lost 28 pounds. Just telling you about my story. I had lost 28 pounds in my first trimester. I had an IV in my arm the entire time I was pregnant. I gave myself fluids the entire time I was pregnant. And then when I could make it to church, I would make it to church. I would throw up on my way because I was so sick. And this man go tell me that I am going to be working with women across the seas. Think if I would have let go of that prophecy. But deep down in my head, no matter how bad the storm got and no matter how bad situations get, I still pull on that word. I say, I'm holding on to hope and I'm trusting God's promises and I'm persevering through trials. I'm persevering through trials. It did not say that the weapons would not form, but it said that they're going to prosper. Real. Didn't say that they weren't going to form, but it said they weren't going to prosper. Because sometimes these weapons, they form and they form in great fashion. But he said that they would not prosper. Come on, we about to get out of here. We about to get out of here. So we have to, let me tell you what you got to do in the storm. Let me tell you what you got to do. You have to strive in the storm. Yep, I said it. Let somebody know that you encountered a day that come to tell you about what's happening, come to tell you there's problems and situations, say you're doing it all wrong. Yep, you done balled up under the covers and you done gave up and you over there crying. No, you gotta strive in the storm. Put your clothes on, beat your face, put your heels on. Stop letting these people know that you're going through. Stop getting on Facebook, making these posts. If you would pray, don't put up another praying emoji on Facebook and say, don't ask. I'm not praying for nobody that can't tell me what I'm praying for. You might be having me praying for the wrong thing. No, get yourself together, put your big girl panties on and say, I'm surviving and I'm striving in the storm. Why am I going to strive in the storm? Because it gives you strength and resilience. It teaches you strength and resilience. It teaches you strength and resilience. It builds character. And then in the midst of the storm, you discover new opportunities. Have you ever been in a storm and you like, I didn't even know I could do that? I didn't even know that I didn't even know I could pray like that. You haven't prayed to God until you're in the middle of the storm and you want to come out. When you finally get tired of those waves crashing up against you and you finally get tired of tossing to and fro, and when you start really praying to God, I don't know about y'all, but I used to drink. And it was nothing better than that drunk prayer of God, if you get me out of this, I promise you I'll never drink again. That's the best prayer I ever prayed in my life. And I was sincere in my heart, holding the toilet full of Jack Daniels. And the one, you know, the one, the drunk. Come on, y'all ain't been saved all your life. The drunk, that drunk when you can't even throw up, that drunk, and you want to throw up because you're so dizzy and you so sick. I know Mother Simpson may not know about it, but just somebody on here know about it. That drunk, the drunk where you like, where you lay down, you spin, that drunk, the drunk where you only when you lay on the bathroom floor, when the bathroom floor, the nasty bathroom floor is the best place for you to be, just on the bathroom floor hugging the toilet because it's cold and it feels comfortable. When the nasty place starts to feel comfortable, that's the prayer. When God, if you get me out of this, Jesus, if you get me out of this situation, I promise you I will never do it again. That's the one. You discover who you really are in the midst of the storm. I've had many nights like that. And then you're growing in faith and character. Say, I want to grow. We talked about it Tuesday. I want to grow. Here we grow again. Here we grow again. So the boat may have broken apart. The boat was towed up, but God's promise says you're still going to get to your destiny. God's promise says you're still going to get to your destiny. God's promise says, Latricia, you're still going to get to your destiny. Chantel, God's promise is that you're still going to you've been in the storm, but God's promise is that you're still going to get to your destiny. The promises of God, Chantel says, do not give up. It says, do not give up. And I know what you think. You're like, I'm in the storm, so I must be out of his will. It is clear in this word that Paul, even as a prisoner, he was still the apostle deep down inside. It's clear that being in a storm does not mean that you're out of God's will. Stop letting people trick you to believe that you're out of God's will. You are not, Chantel, you're not out of God's will. You're not out of God's will. You're not out of God's will. You need to keep hearing that. You're not out of God's will. The very thing that you're doing is in his will. Yes, you're in a storm, and yes, you're going through a few things, but you're not out of his will. Sometimes the storm is exactly where he wants you to be so he can accomplish his purposes in you and through you. Chantel, he got you exactly where he wants you at. Don't move. Weather the storm. And it's going to be people around you, because when they got to the front of the boat, remember the front of the boat was in the land in the word. So the people on the front of the boat, they were on the shore already. It wrecked, but they were on the shore. Now the people who were on the back of the boat, they either had to swim, they had to go on planks, and they had to go on broken pieces. They had to either swim, go on planks, and broken pieces. If you like me and you had a relaxer when you was in the 5th grade and your mama told you you could not get in that pool, you don't know how to swim. No, I don't know how to swim, but I know how to grab onto broken pieces. The very thing that you think, Chantel, I'm still talking to you, the very thing that you think that disqualifies you, the very thing that you think that disqualifies you, somebody else better catch a hold of this. It's the thing that's going to make you great. The very testimony that you think that disqualifies you is the thing that's going to make you great. When God has a mission at hand for you, there's no way that you can die before you accomplish it. No way you can die. They jumped ship. Some of them jumped ship. Some of them ran to the front because they knew when they got there that if they crashed in the front, they wouldn't have to swim. But some of them jumped ship and jumped off and said, I'm going to swim to shore. At that moment, nobody was looking at what the other person was doing. I'm not looking at what nobody else that's praying at 5 o'clock is doing. I'm not looking at what nobody else on Facebook Live is doing at 6 a.m. I'm not looking at what nobody else is doing when they come on here and they speak the word of the Lord, because I'm simply trying to get out of my storm into the shore. I need to get to the shore because he promised me in his word, we read it, that if I get there, that there's double for me. If I get there, there's an abundance for me. If I get there because I battled the storm, stop trying to jump ship and go to another place. Go through the storm, go through the pressures of life, go through the things that you are experiencing, because on the other side, if I make it to Rome, I'm gonna get double. And not only am I going to get double, but everybody going to know that I made it through the storm. Everybody's going to know that I made it. Everybody's going to know that the impossible was made possible. I'm now going to be a shining light, because the very thing that people said that I could not do, the very thing that people said should kill me, the very thing that people told me to walk away from was the thing that made me who I was. Yes, they want to identify you with the negative parts of your life. People always want to identify you. And I feel my bishop coming here, so maybe I should go ahead and start to pray. People always want to identify you with the negative parts of your life. Ain't that the girl who had a baby out of wedlock? Ain't that the girl who used to fight at brackets? Ain't that the girl who did this and did that? Ain't that you want to identify me with the negative part of my life? And yep, you can identify me with the negative part of my life. But when you identify me as the negative, as the negative parts of my life, God said, I can trust her in the storm. God says, I can trust her with the very thing that she's going through. God says, I can trust her to rely on my word. I can trust her with wealth. I told y'all a few weeks ago, some of you have to stay in the storm and some of you have to stay unhappy because God cannot trust you happy. Because if he leaves you happy, then you're not going to pray. If he leaves you happy, then you're not going to seek his face. If he gives you the man, then you're not going to fast. If he gives you the job, then you're going to walk away from Bible study. If he gives you peace, then you're not going to seek the face of the Lord. So he has kept you in the storm. He changed your direction, made you jump ship, because if you would have just went that way, if Paul would have stayed on the first boat, it would have been easy, but it wouldn't have been his destination of purpose. My purpose, my purpose. My purpose calls me to be able to go over these waters. My purpose calls me because I cannot die until it's fulfilled. My purpose calls for me to survive the storm. And after the storm, there is supernatural growth because here I grow again. Here I grow again. Here I grow again. Why am I growing? I'm growing because I'm minding my vision. Why is Wake Up Girl and Pray growing? Half of y'all I don't even know on here because I'm minding my vision. Last Thursday, I couldn't even focus. I needed my intercessors on here because there were so many people that I did not know, and I was being pulled upon. But it's happening because I'm minding my vision. When I wanted to give up, when I wanted to get in, when I wanted to walk away, when I wanted to say enough is enough, God said, no, keep going, jump ship, and swim to shore on broken pieces. Swim to shore with what are the broken pieces? The broken pieces are your testimony. The broken pieces is that you lost your son. The broken pieces is that you used to be an alcoholic at an early age. The broken pieces is that you smoke weed, more weed than anybody else. The broken pieces is that you moved to Atlanta and wowed out. The broken pieces is that you had back surgery. I'm only can tell you about my life. The broken pieces is that they told you that you possibly had the possibility when they cut your back to never walk again. The broken pieces is that you left your son in a graveyard in Atlanta, Georgia. The broken pieces of my life is what qualified me to grow. It's what qualified me to be better. It's what qualified me to be more. It qualified me. My storm qualified me to grow. Some of you have been looking at your storm and you just want to get out, but God said it's the qualifications. It's what's going to qualify you for double. So now when people say, why is she here? Why did Bishop May put her over the women's ministry? Why did Bishop May put her over Dubai, the women in Dubai? My storms qualified me. And it ain't that I'm perfect. It ain't that I'm doing something so amazing that you can't do. But guess what? I'm willing to grow. Some of you aren't willing to grow because it's going to make you uncomfortable. Some of you aren't willing to grow on here, Rhonda, because it means you have to step away from what's familiar to you. Some of you aren't willing to grow because it means that you may be looked at in a negative light. Some of you aren't willing to grow, Shay, because it means that you must be stretched to fulfill the things that God has for you to do. So when they ask you, Shay, what qualifies you to teach Bible study? You don't even have to run down the things that you've been through. You don't have to run down the list. When they try to tell you, Tasha, ain't that the girl that lived on Elkenberg Street that did such and such? Yeah, that's her, but that's what qualified me to be where I am today. That qualified me to be happy. Ain't that the girl who did this and went through such and such? Yep, that's her. I'm the girl from Elkenberg in the project. But that's what qualified me. It's Elkenberg, right? Yeah, it's Elkenberg. I'm the girl from Elkenberg in the projects. Yes. But those things that you experienced on Elkenberg is the things that qualified you to be who you are today. I'm qualified. You qualified, Brittany. You qualified. You're qualified, Tasha. You qualified, Connie. You're qualified. Charles, you're qualified. You're qualified. You don't have to look at no other ministry. You don't have to look at no other pastor. Yep, it's good to have a mentor, but you don't have to look at these other ministries to try to see what they're doing because God has qualified you. He's qualified you. And the reason why you can't find the perfect ministry to mimic because what he wants to do through you has not been done. So you keep looking for people to mimic, to say that this is what I want my ministry to look like. And every time you get it, every time you think you got it, they either fail or they're not really preaching holiness. They got bomb graphics, but they really ain't teaching the word of the Lord, or they teaching the word of the Lord and they don't have no marketing. They have a big budget, but ain't no Jesus there. They got Jesus there, but ain't no budget. So you keep looking for these people. And God says, stop looking, because what I have for you to do, I'm going to qualify you to do it. Because when God qualifies you, there's nothing that man can do. For if I allow man's opinion on Wake Up Girl and Pray, and trust me, I get tons of inboxes on what I should do, and I get tons of calls and tons of texts on when I should fast, and maybe I should change my time, and you would get more people at this time. But I have blocked out the voice of man, except for my leader. And until my leader tell me to change, then I have blocked out the voice of man, because they're not the people who are going to qualify me for my next level. They're not. They're not. We're going to pray. We're going to pray. We're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to leave you with this. 2 Timothy 2:15 says, do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who has no need to be ashamed, rightfully handling the word of truth. So in order for you to stay qualified, I need to read that let me read that in the King James Version, because sometimes y'all don't be knowing what I'm talking about until I give it to you. You be like, oh, that's the scripture grandma and them used to quote. Let me give it to you in the King James Version here. Let me give it to you, because I need you to hear that. I need you to hear that. Some of you are giving up. Some of you are giving up because of what man says, and they can't qualify you. I want the King James Version. Y'all bear with me. I'm going to give y'all the King James Version of that, because you need to know that. 2 Timothy, put that in there. 2 Timothy 2:15. Here you go. You got to be in the Word. If you're not in the Word, if don't nobody know this, Mother Pickens, I know you know this. We quoted it every Wednesday. We quoted it every Wednesday. Study to show thyself approved. That's how you're going to make it through the storm, so you can grab onto his word. I keep telling y'all, that word have I hid in my heart. That's why you have to spend time with God. So when the storms come, you don't have to go running to me to pray. You don't have to go running to your church mother to pray. You don't have to bother your leaders to pray. You'll be able to do it yourself. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed. Do not be ashamed of the things that you've been through, but you can rightfully divide the word of truth. Rightfully dividing the word of truth. That verse alone right there encourages you to diligently study and handle God's word accurately. And it demonstrates your qualification as a faithful worker. Say, I'm a faithful worker. I'm a faithful worker. And so the faithful workers didn't do like me on Tuesday. They didn't weather the storm and keep working. They didn't weather the storm and give up. The faithful workers put on their rain boots and went to work. They went to Walmart. The faithful workers uh, put on their stuff and they went so they could check me out at Target. The faithful workers did not give up in the storm and chill like me and my whole family. We got Starbucks and we chilled out. We had breakfast, we had lunch, we had dinner because the storm that came in. The faithful workers still booted up. They pulled their bootstraps up and they still went and did what they had to do. They did not crumble because of the storm. They did not look at what was happening. They didn't listen to the weatherman. They said, I gotta go to work because I have a need. See, when you have a need, I gotta get out of here. It's time to pray. When you have a need, the storm won't seem so bad. All you'll see is the beautiful shore, and amongst the beautiful shore is double, 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 double. If you stay faithful, Connie, in this season, if you stay a faithful worker to the vision of your family, to the vision that God has given you, to the vision of abundant faith, if you stay faithful in this season, there is a beautiful shore ahead with double on it. But you keep folding. Stop folding because of other people's opinion. You got to keep pressing. You know what God, see, can't nobody tell me what God, nobody can tell me about what God has said to me, what he promised me. You can't sway me with that. Not with the storm, not with the scandal. You cannot sway me about what God promised me because I'm getting double. I got to give y'all these scriptures and we just go end. I got to give you these scriptures. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ." These are scriptures that's going to take you through your storm. We are his workmanship, created in Christ, Jesus, for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. What does that say? What is that saying? It emphasizes that the believers that are created in Christ for good works indicates that their qualifications, it's an indication of their qualifications to fulfill God's purposes. Paul wasn't worried about it because he knew that God had purpose for him. He knew he could not die on that ship. He knew he could not die on that ship because the storm, even in the storm, his qualifications to fulfill God's purposes was more important than the storm. Help somebody right there. The qualifications for you to fulfill what qualifies you to fulfill God's purposes is much better than the storm. It's stronger than the storm. It's stronger than your circumstances. It's stronger than what God has for you. I'm getting excited. It is stronger than the plan that the enemy has. It's stronger than what the naysayer says. It's stronger than what the enemy says. It's stronger than what statistics say. It's stronger. The plan, if the plan of God is for your life, and God says, in order for you to fulfill the plan, I need to put you in a home, it's going to happen. If the plan of God for your life is for you to be an intercessor. It doesn't matter what imp, what witch, what warlock, what naysayer, what person who tries to sow discord. He said, I'm gonna make you just that. So whatever God has promised you, even though you're in the midst of the storm, he said, grab a hold of the boat, jump out and swim, grab a hold of broken pieces so that you can get to shore, because on shore it is double. I need y'all to believe it in your heart. I don't need you to leave here not believing that the things that you're going through are worth it. It's all, say it's worth it. Say it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. So God, we thank you right now for it being worth it. God, I thank you right now for I am worth it. God, I thank you right now that the plan and the storm of life that you have taken me through and these trials have made me exactly who you wanted me to be. God, so I take my hands off. I take the limits off. I take the pressure off. I take the plan that I have and I put it in your hands. God, I trust you in this season of my life. I'm like Armani. Hello, God, it's me. It's me again. And I am here telling you that you can trust me. In the middle of the storm, I won't give up. In the middle of the storm, I won't give in. I will continue to trust the process and the plan that you have for me. And in the middle of it, I will say that defeat is not an option. Defeat is not an option. Somebody needs to know that defeat, Simone, it's not an option. Defeat, Teresa, is not an option. Defeat, Mother Pickens, is not an option. Defeat will not overtake what the purposes of God that He has for your life. For in His purpose and in His plan, you shall fulfill the plan of God. Yes, Lord. And so, God, we thank you for the fulfillment, for everything that you put me through, qualified me to grow to a next level. It qualified me for where you're taking me to. It qualified me for wealth. It qualified me for peace. It qualified me for joy. It qualified me for love. It qualified me to walk into new places. It qualified me for the rooms I'm about to walk in. It qualified me for the countries I'm about to talk in. It qualified me for the platforms I'm about to sit on. It qualified me for the home that I'm about to live in. It qualified me for the relationship I'm about to have. It qualified me for the husband that you're sending me. It qualified me for the village that you're establishing. It qualified me for the things that you have for me. It qualified. So God, I thank you for qualifying me. I don't look at it as negative moments, but I look at it as qualifications for where you are taking me. So God, I don't negate the struggle. I don't negate the plan, but God, I thank you in everything. I give thanks to you. I give thanks to you because you qualified me in this season. So God, we thank you right now. Yes, Lord, we thank you right now for where you're taking me. God, we thank you right now for where we're going. We thank you right now for these moments, God, that we have. We thank you right now for we're growing somewhere. We're growing in faith. We're growing in love. Yes, Lord, we're growing in your word. We're growing to where you would have us to be. We will not stop, for you've given us the green light, not to go, but to grow. We don't want to just go and stay where we are. So, God, we thank you for the growth, God. We thank you for the storms that produce growth. We thank you for the storms and the seed. We put seed in the ground, and then we thank you for the storms, for you have sent a storm to allow us to grow to a new level, to allow us to grow out of this season, to allow us to grow out of the people who are negative, to allow us to grow from away from the naysayer, to allow us to grow away from defeat, to allow us to grow. So God, I thank you right now. I thank you right now. I thank you right now, for I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. There are no challenges that I cannot go over. There are no challenges that I cannot face. There are no storms that I cannot battle. For God, even when I want to give up, you will put broken pieces for me to get to shore. So God, I thank you for the little things that you put to shore, God. I thank you for fasting, God. I'll continue to seek your face. I'll continue to seek your word. I'll continue to do what you would have me to do. My yes will be complete. I'll say yes to your will. Yes, Lord. I'll say that yes gets me every time. I can't play around with it because we got to get off. I'll say yes to your way. Somebody needs to say yes to your will. Come on, say it. Say yes to your will. You got to say it and you got to mean it. Yeah, I'm not going to move until you say it. Say yes to your will, God. Not my will, but your will be done. Yes to your will. Say it. Come on. Yes to your will, God. I'll say yes to your will, God. I don't want my will, but I say yes to your will. I'll say yes to your will. I don't doubt. Yes hijacks me every time. I'll say yes, yes, yes. Yes to your will, God. Yes to your way. If you tell me to go, God, I'll say yes. If you tell me to stop, God, I still say yes. God, if you tell me to move, God, I'll say yes. God, even in my uncomfortable situations, I'll say yes. Even when I don't know, I still say yes. So, God, I trust you with the plan of God for my life. Yes, 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 yes. Some of you don't want to say yes, and some of you are going to stay bound because you refuse to say yes. Not just from typing it in the comments, but in your heart. Some of you are going to stay bound until you say yes. It's not your idea. He does not care about your plan. He chuckles at your plan because it's his plan. Not my will, Simone. Not my will, but your will be done. Your will be done. Your will be done, Crystal. Your will be done, Crystal. My nephew is on here. Your will be done, Crystal. DJ, I know you got my text yesterday. I wasn't playing with you. His will be done in your life. His will be fulfilled in your life. You ain't got to respond. You got TT's text. His will be fulfilled in your life. You can't run from it. So you might as well do it the easy way. You might as well do it the hip way. You might as well do what you love. You might as well do what God has for you because his will, his plan, God's plan. And when you follow his will, you'll be able to say that God did it again. Christopher, what he has for you in this season is about to be so great. He is connecting you because we need people in holiness. We need people in the church, especially in our church. We need people to not only look the part, but we need people who are actually doing the part. I don't need you to look like $1,000,000 and you only got $5. That's why he is positioning you, Crystal, in a place of wealth. He is positioning you, Crystal, to actually have in your bank account what you've always looked like. Yep. That's why he's giving you so many talents and giftings in your hand. He is positioning you in this season to have what you've always looked like. Because if I look at you, I would think that you got $1,000,000. He said, but I'm putting you in a place. He said, listen to me and heed my voice. He said, before you start going into these classes, he said, people are going to be able to, it's going to be, I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. I don't know what it's called. Enterprises where you are teaching people, not just the church people, not just the Koja crew, not just when you go to convocations, but teaching the trader new ways to trade, teaching the trader new ways to do it. Because the difference between you and the trader on Wall Street is that you're going to seek the face of God and he's going to give you direction. And when he say pull, you pull. Don't be afraid of his voice, Crystal, in this season. Don't be afraid of fasting and praying. And you like, God, I'm fasting. And people go say, you fasting and praying about money? I am. I am drawing what God has for me. And guess what? We cannot do it without wealth. We cannot do, your mother cannot do the ministry that she needs to do without wealth. Isaiah cannot do what he needs to do without generational wealth. The plans that he has for him, the plan of God for him is going to be through you. Chrissy Enterprises is just what she LLC, and we have not talked. That's my girl, but we ain't talked about this. Chrissy Enterprises shall change the game for so many people. And guess what? You're going to be able to teach leaders how to trade so that they're not relying on tithes and offering. They're going to be a little skeptical. Am I gambling? What am I doing here? But he said, you're going to be able to teach people in ministries how to trade because it's going to be a stream of income for ministries to be able to do exactly what they need to do. You're going to be able to teach Kennedy how to, because she's been talking about it out of nowhere. You're going to be able to teach her how to trade so that her trading will be able to bless abundant faith. See, it's much bigger than what you think. You think, oh, I'm just helping a few people come out of poverty. He said, no, you are about to change generations. Generations, not just generational wealth for you, but generational wealth for others. Not just generational wealth for the Robertsons, but generational wealth for the Mays. Not just generational wealth for the Mays, but generational wealth for the Simpsons. Come on, somebody. She is about to change the game of generational wealth in the church. If I not be a woman of God, you are about to change the game. You're going to be teaching classes in the WIC conference, in the Women's International Conference. You're going to be teaching classes at AIM. Get your material together. You may have to dumb it down a little bit so that they can understand. You know, we can be a little slow, but get your material together. Somebody go say, what you working on? Oh, I'm working on my stuff for AIM. I'm working on my stuff for the Women's Conference. I'm working on my stuff for a 2025 Leadership Conference. And they go be like, but do you know who to contact? Nope. They go, contact me. They're contacting you, Crystal, because just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Get the booklet together, get your marketing together, get all that stuff together, because God is about to not only place you, it's not only the Church of God in Christ, Crystal. It's going to be mega churches. It's going to be Caucasian ministries. It's going to be Hispanic ministries that you're going to be able to bless. You're going to go in there and teach them the way of money, how to get money and to keep it coming, to keep it coming. You will never be broke again. The things that you experience because you did not give up in the storm. When COVID messed your face up, when COVID had you 7 shades lighter, when COVID changed you, you never gave up. You never changed. You still put on your stuff. You still came out. You still encouraged. You still told your story. In the midst of the storm, when things changed during the pandemic, you had one business and God said, nope, I'm going to loop you this way. You jumped on the boat. And because of your faithfulness, God said, I am rewarding you with generational wealth. Y'all know what to do. I got to get out of here. Ain't no sense of y'all pulling on me. I can't do it. I got to get out of here. Y'all know what to do. Y'all go sow. $ One Vision Coach. Apple Pay 980-825-2347. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know what to do. If you're sowing, say I'm sowing. Y'all know what to do. Y'all listen. If you're in Charlotte, if you're in Charlotte, get ready for the Jesus. I'm trying to let this go. If you're in Charlotte, get ready for the vision board, the prayer board party. This is not your typical prayer board. Come take magazines, attach it to a board, and go show it to what you did and put it on Facebook. We about to labor in prayer over those. Kind of put up the sewing options. Register February 2nd. It is on the Servant Girl website. Do not send the funds to me. Do not DM me if you can avoid it. But go to Servant Girls. Mari put that in there. Servantgirls.com. I believe it's up, Donna, if you're still here. Servantgirls.com. Go there to register so we can have a head count of how many boards we need to. If you don't register, I can't get you a board. If you don't register, I can't get what you need. So go to servantgirls.com and register as we pop off our first event of the year, February 2nd. Blue jeans, pearls, and bling. Put on your blue jeans, pearls, and bling. Come out, be cute, and we are going to. You can be cute when we start off, but I promise you, we go labor in prayer over our prayer boards so that God can do something amazing for us. Tam, are you still on here? Tamara, are you still on here? Tamara Clark, are you still on here? So God can do something amazing for. If you on here, just say that you here, so that God can do something amazing for us. So that God can do something amazing for us. Tam, you still here? About 3 or 4 months ago, I remember telling you that I was praying for you, and in prayer, I told you to put a seed in the ground because it was going to be the seed that would establish you through your storm. If you have not put that seed in the ground, and I believe you knew what you wanted to give and knew what you wanted to sow, and wherever you're sowing it to, whatever your church home is, I got a few things that I need to tell you. He said, put it in the ground because what should take you under in this season, depression that should accompany with where you're going and what you're going to go through. He said the storm is not going to kill you, but it's going to qualify you for the blessings that he is about to give to you. Tamara, it is time in this season for you to get back into ministry like you once were. Yes, you were dropped. You were dropped just when you got to the place of trusting God and believing everything that God was doing. You got to a place of trusting leaders. You got to a place of trusting a place to worship, and you got dropped. He said, but I allowed that to happen. I had to bust it up because what I got to teach on it because I keep coming back to it. The weight of the king's kid. When the nurse ran away with Mephibosheth, she dropped him because she could not handle him because he was too heavy, and it made him lame. Yep, you were dropped, and yes, you feel lame. Yes, you feel a little crippled in the spirit. You feel crippled in his word. But he said, it's time for you to go back to church. I was just talking about you a few days ago, saying it's time for you to go back to church, for when you go back, your whole family is coming with you. He says, so this, what you put in the ground, because you delayed it. You was like, I don't know. I really don't know what to do with it. What you put in the ground this time is going to sustain your businesses. Your businesses. One, two, I know of two, but I'm going to give it to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5. It's going to sustain the 5 businesses, even the business with your sisters. I don't know what y'all been planning to do. I don't know what y'all been talking about that y'all should do together, but the business with your sisters, it's about to sustain it. But when the storm comes, the rain, Apostle Bellinger says, only matters to those who have seed in the ground. And that is the word of the Lord for the people of God. I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all register on servantgirls.com. Y'all go to servantgirls.com, and my Lord, I see y'all in the photo shoot, Tam. I see it so clear. I ain't Bishop May. I got to learn how to finagle this thing. Got to learn. I ain't Mother Simpson, but I know when guys speak. He qualified me for that. He qualified. He said, I can trust you, Ashia, to tell the people the right thing and not to pimp them and not to do it for funds and not to do it for money. He said, I can trust you. I can see y'all, Tam, dressed alike in a photo shoot, taking photos for the business. I can see y'all. I can see y'all getting it together. I can see all of your sisters, even the ones in Florida. I can see y'all all. Whatever y'all been talking about that y'all should be doing, it's the season. Y'all pushed it off long enough. Y'all delayed it long enough. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. Some with Doc's name. I can see it. I can see it on. I can see y'all with your arms folded, with y'all face beat, and y'all clothes on, and y'all all leaning up against each other, taking pictures. All the Clark and Gist girls. I can see y'all. Wealth. He said, and you're going to take your family back to church. You're taking your family you're going to be it doesn't matter about age. You're going to be the spiritual head of your family. Yes, that's heavy, but it's doable. And yes, you'll experience some storms, but it's doable. And so, God, we thank you for what you're going to do in Tam's life, for the storm that she may face in this next season. God, she is going to have something to sustain her, and that when she gets to shore, it shall be double. It shall be double. Y'all go register for the, if you're in Charlotte, go register. Latricia and Connie is working up on y'all something good. I tried to tell them to keep it simple, but I know them too. They don't listen. I need them to keep it simple because we coming to pray. If you're in the surrounding areas, come to pray. Come to pray. We're not coming to do vision boards just because we do vision, because it's the beginning of the year. We coming to pray. And then prep yourself. Y'all start prepping yourselves. Y'all got about 3 more weeks before this financial fast starts. What that look like? I better get some braids in my hair or do something, because we're not doing no hair. We're not doing none of that. We better get some press-ons or something. I don't know how we're gonna make it, but we got 3 more weeks before the 30 days, because we're in 30 days of sowing now, and then we're going into our financial fast. We're going in, so brace yourself and get ready for the financial fast. I love y'all. Tuesday, I'm gonna try my best to see if Mother, yes, get your knotless in. Go get your knotless in. Go do what you got to do. You better do what you got to do, because in February we're going on this financial fast. We're gonna be ready for first fruit. I'm gonna try to see if I can get Mother Simpson on here to pray Tuesday, or Thursday. Maybe she'll pray Thursday, because my birthday is next week. Shout out to my niece who I did not wish a happy birthday on Tuesday on Wake Up Girl and Pray. Happy birthday to Brittany. We love you. Um, yes, absolutely, Crystal. Look at God. Absolutely, Crystal. I can even have you come on and do something. However it works for you. You got to open your mouth, y'all. You have to open your mouth. I didn't even connect that. Absolutely. You got to open your mouth during the financial fast. That's I've opened my mouth twice, and one was insurance and whole life and term life insurance. Man, I have him coming to do something for y'all, and now we have somebody who's going to teach us about budgeting and finance. So I'll see y'all. I gotta get out of here. It's way past our time, and I gotta go get me some breakfast. Y'all have the most amazing Thursday. Have the most amazing Thursday. Be safe this weekend. Pray for my family as we bury my auntie. Who is 90, was 90 years old. So pray for my family as we do that. I love y'all. Two fingers. Peace.